The city was clearing the land to build side streets and cross streets and main arteries. They would run into these huge granite outcroppings that popped up all along the landscape. But what we are looking at in this image, if you go to the next image, this is Long Island City. Okay, part of the territory that was in the center of that previous photograph was the old location of Sunnyside. Sunnyside was actually built where the Sunnyside yards are located today. So when the yards were built, they actually relocated the town just a little bit south of that, consolidated into Greater New York, and you have the trolley lines there heading into Flushing and into College Point, and you have women in period dress, you have men in period outfits and garments, and on the left-hand side is a very famous building, which is now today the Crab House. But back then, it was known as Tony Miller's Long Island City Saloon. All right, this was one of the most notorious saloons in New York City. Tony Miller was a huge saloon operator known throughout the 5 boroughs. His competitor was one Harry Hill, who was a saloon operator in Flushing, and they would kind of have duels as who was going to be the best and most successful saloon owner. Tony Miller actually won when Harry Miller went bankrupt due to betting problems, and it was actually Tony Miller who bailed him out. So this was his hotel and saloon, and this is actually where Theodore Roosevelt stayed the night before he departed for the South with the Rough Riders. Okay, so this had a very, this was the place to be in Western Queens. It would have be host to political banquets and election parties and political speeches, and Tony Miller was very, very politically connected. And today it is the Crab House. If you notice, the 3rd floor is missing. Okay, it's now a 2-level structure. The Crab House, I don't know if anyone's ever eaten it, but it's really, really good. They've been through a lot of hardship. They went through a big fire. They were completely taken out by Hurricane Sandy. The water rose and went right into the place and was completely wiped out, but they got back on their feet soon after that. It shows Neir's. It has 1898, very important because that's the year of consolidation. Queens County officially became a borough on January the 1st, 1898. And you have great, not only is this a great photo, but what makes it wonderful is that it has the names. It's always a wonderful thing to see. So these people...
And Brooklyn and Queens became part of New York City.
Became part of New York City, right, yeah. Right. Brooklyn County, which was Kings County, which was a city unto itself, became a borough. The Bronx and Manhattan were together before consolidation, so the Bronx happily went along. Queens, of course, Queens County, and then you had Richmond County, which is Staten Island, and they were just brought right into the mix. So, let's talk a little bit about Neir's. This comes from their website. So, this Neir's was founded in October of 1829, and it was first called the Blue Pump Room by Cadwallader R. Colden, who I believe is a descendant of the Colden family. From that in relation to Charles Colden from Queens College. Is that the same? Anyone know? Colden, possibly. Okay. This man, Cadwallader Colden, was the manager of the famous Union Course racetrack that was located literally just across the street. Colden was the black sheep of a distinguished family. His great-grandfather, Cadwallader Colden, was the former lieutenant governor and acting governor of New York and a historian, scientist, and philosopher. The Blue Pump Room was renamed the Old Abbey, and as the Union Race Course became more popular and brought in more tourists and more people and, of course, more money, the area became more populated and became a destination spot for gamblers and tourists. However, later on, the fortunes of the Union Race Course began to decline, and the Old Abbey gained a reputation as a notorious rum seller that catered to the crowds of blacklegs, thieves, housebreakers, and fighting men that were going to the races. So this was kind of a rowdy joint back in the day. All right? So of course this is, over this beautiful, beautiful tavern that we're in tonight is over 180 years old. That's quite something. And here we are tonight looking at this photo. It's amazing how time works out. You see, the photographer takes this photo back in 1898, and here we are in the same place talking about it. It is quite extraordinary. Here, if you just notice the Neir name, you have Louis Neir right here, the gentleman with the derby and the dog. You have B. Bedell Donahue, Julia Neir, right here, 1, 2, 3. So standing would be this beautiful young lady in back of Louis Neir. Also, this establishment, as you know, has been featured in many films, one of which is Goodfellas, my favorite movie. Okay, so this definitely is an honor for me to be here tonight. This is also was also a famous drinking saloon for W.C. Fields. And this is where the famous Mae West gave one of her early performances and was first discovered right here in this space that we're occupying right now. Just a little background on the Union Course. Was a nationally famous racetrack situated in the area, now bounded by 78th Street, 82nd Street, Jamaica Avenue, and Atlantic Avenue. The Union Course was first skinned or dirt racing surface, a curious novelty at the time. The course was originally without grandstands. The custom of conducting a single 4-mile race consisting of many, it was necessary to determine the winner, gave way to programs consisting of several races. So as the years went by, it turned into one of the country's premier racing venues. So we're just going to move away from this wonderful, wonderful photo. And if you notice, it has the name. It's not Neir's at this point. It's still called the Old Abbey. So there's Union Course. This is a, a copy from a Beers 1873 atlas showing the course, which it's bounded East New York and Jamaica Horse Railroad. These were cars that were pulled by horse. You have a depot on one end, and you have the railroad station from the other. So right away, you're seeing two major entry points. You can either come by Horse Railroad or the Long Island Railroad to the Union Course. If you go to the next one, this is a great shot. I mean, this is kind of dull, but here, okay, this is a wonderful Courier and Ives print.
I have a picture like that.
Okay, this is beautiful. I mean, this really gives you the flavor of what was going on just outside that door. So imagine you would open that door and look upon this. Right. This is quite something. So this is Paytona and Fashion. And their great match, and the purse was $20,000.
Wow. I'm looking at the hills there.
Yes.
It looks
That's
like
Forest Park in the background, right?
Yeah, but it didn't go up that far.
That's my house. That's the glacial moraine. Right. That's where the glacier stops.
Right.
We know that.
So another thing, that's where the terminal moraine came to a stop, and you can tell that by this print. You see, even though it was, it's a great artistic piece, it holds great historical value. Now you could barely tell where the moraine is. There's no way to notice it. It doesn't stand out because. I'm sorry.
That building in the middle on the left.
That could possibly be, sure.
That's Neir's.
Where are we looking?
Or where Neir's is. That building.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The third building?
Gotcha. Right here.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You're standing at Atlantic Avenue looking north. That's true.
This is, the gentleman just said this is from Atlantic Avenue looking north.
Well, it's looking north. Real north as opposed
But if it
to...
went from
Right,
Jamaica
true.
to
As
New
opposed
York,
to New York north. Right, true
it
north.
would be longer.
Right.
So I guess where they go to 78th.
Yeah.
That's definitely Forest Park in the background. That's definitely. I'll just leave this up for a while. You can talk. I'm sure some people in here might remember the wonderful bowling alley, which was, I believe, right through those doors, right there. So when you walk through those very doors, this is one of the first historical presentations where I can actually point at what I'm talking about. This is wonderful. You go right through those doors, and you would enter this.
They're not there anymore?
Would you like to talk about the bowling a little bit? You told me about.
Well, my brother used to set pins, you don't need a pin point during
Yeah, can you
the mid-60s, I guess.
Wow.
A sunset.
My, not my son, my husband.
Oh, excuse me.
How long was the bowling alley here until? Does anybody know when it was removed?
Mid-60s.
Mid-60s?
Well, and I was here in 63, 64. Oh, no, it was here, in fact, the bowling alley was here into the early 70s.
Oh, well,
Bowling
it
alley
still
was-
existed, but they closed it up. It was
Well, they were
closed
used
up.
then. Then it became, they sold out part of it to a karate studio and a
Yeah.
film studio. You know, they, narrowed off the building or something like that.
Oh,
And then upstairs, where that staircase is, went up to the showroom where Mae West sang and everything else up there. That was the ladies' room and the showroom up there.
But my brother's born in 1951.
so this was truly a multi-purpose tavern. And I wish I still had the bowling. This photo is, I believe it was dated the late 1920s. This particular photo.
That long ago. Still look like that when I
Yeah,
was a kid.
still looks pretty nice. The lanes are nicely oiled. Not bad. I'm a bowler myself, so I'm getting really excited looking at this photo. This is great. Okay.